Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Hiking Journal, Clevenger Canyon in my rocking chair. In this episode, I take a solo hike into the Pascual Open Space, a portion of the City of San Diego's San Dieguito River Park, and hike high up along the Clevenger Canyon Southwest Trail to a very unusual pair of summits. Okay, so what's with the rocking chair, you might ask? Well, I'll explain that a little later in the episode. It'll make some sense, I promise you. The City of San Diego Parks and Recreation Department established the 92,000-acre San Dieguito River Park in 1989 and manages and maintains the trails of the San Pascual and Clevenger Canyon, located east of the San Pascual Valley, which just happens to be just a stone's throw from the world-famous San Diego Zoo's Safari Park. These trails provide nature enthusiasts with striking examples of San Diego County's natural landscape from the Pacific Coast all the way to the Pacific Crest. The canyon is named after John Clevenger and his family, who settled in Pascual Valley in 1872 to begin wheat and dairy farming. The Clevenger home was once the oldest house in the valley until it was destroyed by wildfires in October of 2007 that burned over 197,000 acres. The hillsides traversed by the South Trail are populated by low-lying coastal sage scrub and taller, denser southern mixed chaparral. Many types of wildflowers emerge from the rocky soils to treat hikers in the spring, lending color to the hillsides along with the wild lilac and other blooming shrubs. Now, I got a real close-up and personal view of this on my hike today. Many years ago, these trails were once used by local Indians, that historians believe the trails allowed them to collect more than 12,000 native plants for food and medicinal purposes. But Spanish settlements in 1769 began a process of drastic change for the Kumeyaay people. Missionaries introduced new social and religious practices, and settlers like John Clevenger claimed land for his cattle and agricultural business. This area is known for its peaks and steeply sloped canyons. The valley itself actually developed over a local fault, and an immense amount of granite lies underneath most of the region. Reddish, coarse, sandy soil covers the hillsides that support a unique plant community known as the Southern Mixed Chaparral, which is dominated by chamise and ceanthus and some scrub oak. Each trailhead has a paved parking area. There's no restroom facilities, and overnight camping is not allowed in the parking areas or in the canyon. Carrying plenty of drinking water is recommended since it's often hot in the canyon, and even though it was a cool and cloudy start to my trail today, the humidity made me work up quite the sweat. From the parking lot, the west trail climbs up gently up the slopes to a trail fork. The west branch of this trail gradually ascends through a flower-strewn hillside to an overlook of the San Pascual Valley. It descends into a ravine that is shaded by oaks and sycamores. From there, the trail climbs through chamise and black sage before joining a trail that reaches the summit of 1,755 feet. I never really saw that one when I was up there. The main trail veers north along a ridge through deer weed to the 1,635-foot summit on the far end that also provides a beautiful view of the San Pascual Valley. The City of San Diego Parks Department also admitted that the trail is in need of maintenance, and several miles of the trail is so overgrown that it's really no longer a trail, and there are no more additional trail markers. Now, I didn't really have any trouble finding my way on this hike, but I could kind of see difficulties if you weren't paying attention. To get to San Pascual Valley and Clevenger Canyon from Temecula, it's only about 40 miles, but with all that commuter traffic on the southbound 15 these days, I decided to take a slightly longer but more scenic route inland through Palma Valley and Valley Center, the back way to Escondido and the trailhead. Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today I'm taking a drive out to inland San Diego. I'm going to be on the south and east corner, I guess, of Escondido in what's known as San Pascual Valley. And the reason I'm coming up here today is to do a hike. I just found out about it about a week ago, and it's kind of piqued my interest. I wanted to make a trip up here before we go to Yosemite. It's a bunch of cows right there. It's a place called Clevenger Canyon. And it's part of a wilderness park. It's maintained and operated by San Diego County. So it's not a national forest, that's not state park or whatever. It's part of the San Diego County park system. And It's just a stone's throw from the San Diego Wild Animal Park, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of neat things out here. In fact, it even says right here is a sign, Safari Park entrance. So it tells you if we happen to see an emu running around on the freeway or a rhino, then you'll know that we're right across from the Wild Animal Park. But anyway, there's something that's unique. The hike isn't that far. It's only about 4.5 miles, I think, round trip. Maybe a little farther if I take some detours. In fact, here's the sign, San Diego Wild Animal Park. Actually, it says San Diego Zoo Safari Park is what it says. Going right by the entrance. I haven't been there. I used to take the kids there all the time when they were little. It's actually a pretty good place to go. You buy a one-time pass and you get it's good for the whole year, and they don't charge you for parking, and you're allowed to bring in food and beverage. So I used to come here with the kids when they were little, and I would when my wife was working, I would drive out here, and me and the kids would spend a day at the Wild Animal Park. It's kind of cool, actually. Anyway, this Clevenger Canyon. What's neat about it? It's a ridgeline hike with tremendous views, which is awesome. But the other thing that it's kind of piqued my interest is on one of the peaks, somebody placed something, not only one thing, but two things, that I thought was pretty cool. So we're going to take a hike up there. It'll be about 2.5 miles up. It's pretty steep. It's like 1,500 feet of gain and 2.5 miles, so you know that's pretty steep. And it's also pretty overgrown from what I've been reading on the latest trip reports. So I got to wear pants today. No kilt, no shorts, no sandals today. Actually, it says San Pasqual Battlefield State Historic Park is coming up on the right. And that was actually pretty historic. I talked a little bit about this on the Indian Massacre in Temecula. It's, believe it or not, connected to this part right here. But anyway, I can see the peak in front of me here. I don't know which one is the one I need to go to, but I guarantee it's one of those big tall ones right there. And I should be arriving at the trailhead here in about 5 minutes. Then I'll start my hike up Clevenger Canyon. So anyway, if you got some time, stick around. Head on up the trail with me to find these unusual things on top of the peak up in Clevenger Canyon. All right, I just checked the GPS, and we're really, really close. It looks like this is Clevenger Canyon right here. It's pretty obvious this is a canyon. And the trailhead is going to be off to my right. That peak that I saw back there was not it. So my trail is going to be on the right side of the road, heading up to the right. In fact, I see some peaks ahead of me here, and that could very well now be where I'm headed. There's a peak called 1635, which is on the far end, and there's one called 1755, I think. There's actually a summit register up there, believe it or not, but that's not where the interesting thing is. So, but I am going to go up there because it's close. So, and my trailhead should be coming up here pretty quick. It's been a couple of miles. I've seen pictures of the trailhead. There is a sign. So we'll see if I run into that here momentarily. Looks like there's a bunch of wineries out here. I looked on the map. There was like 4 wineries out here. So if you're a wine drinker, and we are, our family is, so maybe we'll have to take a trip out here one day just to check out the vineyards. That'd be kind of a cool little excursion. And it's going to be a nice, cool day today. Daytime high is only supposed to be about 73, I think. And right now it's overcast. I'm sure this will lift. This May gray will lift, and it'll probably be bright and sunny. I'm expecting it to be sunny. I just hope it doesn't get too hot. I heard it's exposed. The trail's exposed all the way. So we'll see. Okay, it says turnout a quarter mile. I don't know if that turnout is my trail or not. It could very well be. It probably is, because I know I'm getting pretty close. This is pretty. There's lots of orchards down there. It looks like orange groves down to the left. Down in the bottom of the canyon, I guess that's Clevenger Canyon. Okay, it says turnout, so I've got to keep my eyes open here. No, that's not really it. No, yeah, that's it. Okay, San Pasqual, Clevenger Trail South. So this is it. And boy, there's nobody here. And this is a tiny little parking lot. All right, we made it.
Evening, ma'am. Come from a rocking chair.
My rocking chair. You promised me my rocking chair.
Where is Scar? Ask him about Debbie. Is Debbie all right, Mose?
Well, good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. Today I'm out in Clevenger Canyon, inland San Diego County, just a little south and east of Escondido. And I'm right off the main highway here, Highway 78, which goes from, I guess, all the way from the 15 freeway east and then south by the San Diego Wild Animal Park. And this trail is going to go work its way up along the top of these ridges, and I have a feeling I'm going to end up way over there today. It's got an elevation gain of about 1,200 feet or something like that, so it shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be a nice cool start to the morning. I'm sure once that sun comes out, it's going to get a lot hotter. Anyway, hopefully in a little bit I'll get up above the highway and I won't have to listen to all that traffic noise. Well, you know, as I'm starting up the Clevenger Canyon Trail, look at these wildflowers. Wow, look at this. It's pretty impressive. They said it was pretty overgrown, so that's another reason I'm wearing pants today. But boy, what a magnificent start. Wow, this is a real pretty start to the trail here in Clevenger Canyon. And this is the official start of the trail right here as it works its way up. Wow, so far got some pretty high hopes for this hike today. Looks like it's going to be gorgeous. And there's definitely going to be some wildflowers today, I hope. What a pretty day, huh? Well, here's our first sign as we've left the trailhead. I've only gone a few feet. Talks about the rules, no smoking. City of San Diego. I thought this was county. Huh. South Clevenger Canyon Trail as it works its way up. The sun comes out. This might be a good day to see snakes too. I'll have to keep my eyes out and my ears open. Well, I'm finally starting to work my way up above the highway here. Hopefully fairly soon I'll start getting away from some of this traffic noise that you hear in the background. But they did say this trail was overgrown, and even on the San Diego Parks and Rec website they admitted it, that they didn't have the funding nor the manpower to take proper care of the trail, but I'm going to enjoy it nevertheless. Looks pretty easy to follow at this point. Once we get higher up, I was told there's a couple of really bad sections, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. And here is some black sage in bloom, or what's left of the bloom, here along the Clevenger Canyon Trail. And this is called Tiny Tips. Never seen these before along the trail. It's pretty. The pretty purple flower is a wild hyacinth growing along the trail here. It's been a pretty steady grade steepness, but it is a little more overgrown a little further up as we go. And I can still hear that traffic noise. Hopefully that'll die down here pretty soon. I've seen a bit of graffiti. Hopefully what I've passed was the end of it. There was a dove. Here I'll see more of those. And the purple flower here with the bee as his companion is a larkspur. And I've been seeing quite a bit of the orange flowering shrub, but then I saw this, the yellow one. This is called a deer weed. Does it look like it's getting a little thicker and overgrown the higher I get? And this is the first of the thistles I've seen. This one is a broad-winged thistle, and you can see the little spines on it. You want to kind of stay away from this. It's pretty easy to spot. And I just discovered that the purple flower here is called a purple owl's clover. It's Kind of pretty. Get you a better look at that. The purple owl's clover. Well, remember I told you about the wild cucumber? Well, here's a healthy variety right here. Very vine-like. Grows along the trail. Well, I've come over this little rise, and now we're starting to head down. And I remember reading in the trail description that it goes up and over a little small ridge, and then it drops down into a wooded area and crosses a seasonal spring. And there are some kind of rare Engelmann oaks that are down here. So if we run into one, I'll try to point it out for you. Meantime, I'm pretty much about armpit deep along the trail in these wildflowers, which is scenic in its own right, but I'm a little worried about ticks because they tend to cling on to things and catch you as you go by. So this will definitely be a tick check when I get home as I'm working my way up. Well, even though this trail is overgrown, I have to give them credit. This is like my third or fourth sign that I've seen to keep you on track and on trail. I don't think you can really get lost because you can see its trail's pretty evident. But down here in the bottom, I'm assuming I get a little closer inspection, I'll see if any of those are the Engelmann oaks out here along the Clevenger Trail. So I'm continuing up, and it looks like I might cross the head of a seasonal stream maybe. We'll find out here in a minute. Lots of wild birds out here, I can hear them. Saw some hawks soaring in the thermals up over the ridge. Maybe I'll get a better look at them too as I continue on the trail. A few seconds ago I mentioned that there was most likely a seasonal stream, and now I hear it. This was also a burn zone. Glasses are fogging up, even though it's overcast and cool, probably 60. It doesn't mean, well, that's a big thistle, don't want to run into that bad boy right there. Doesn't mean that it's not humid, and that it is, because I am sweating big time. Time to get out the handkerchief, wipe my brow. It's the one bad thing about this hat is it has a reed leather headband, and it doesn't absorb the sweat very well. Don't know if you can hear that. Down there in the bottom. I'm also going to have to look for a poison oak. This is a great spot for it. In fact, it's probably it right there. I didn't touch it, thank God. Lots of thistle down here, and here's my little stream, and lots of poison oak. A shit ton of poison oak over there. I'm definitely not going that way. All right, well, here's my seasonal spring, and it does in fact have water in it. And what it also has is a ton of poison oak right here. All of this is poison oak. Like they say, leaves of 3, let it be. There you go. Check that one out. Leaves of 3. You can also tell by those spots. Those spots are a dead giveaway. And sometimes they turn yellow and red and orange in the fall. But you can usually find them anywhere it's moist. Creek bottoms, shady river bottoms. It's a perfect environment for poison oak. Well, it looks like somebody's missing a dog. Or maybe it's just their leash. Looks like he slipped his collar. It's a nice setup. It's rough wear. But based on the size of the neck, it's probably a small dog. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was are these little arm sleeves. Back there when I was plowing through the brush, I was getting stuff all in my arms and all up and down. I just had this paranoia kick in about ticks. And then I passed the poison oak section and I thought, you know what, it's time to break them out. If I get up to the ridge line and it starts to open up a little wider, then I'll take them off. But a little added sense of security, emotional, if not physical. But man, it's humid up here. I don't know why it's so hot. And I had to bring my handkerchief with me because sweating up a storm here. Maybe when I get a little higher up, that breeze will kick in. It'll probably feel good. Anyway, I can see some massive boulders on the top of the ridgeline. Hopefully I get a good shot at them. Boy, I cannot believe how muggy it is. I wasn't anticipating a humidity like this. I did hear on the forecast there was a little bit of monsoonal moisture coming in, swirling around, coming back from Mexico and in through Arizona, so that's got to be what it is. We do have a great view down the canyon. I can see the ridge line. I'm not too far away. I still got some uphill to go though. And there's really no sense this cloud cover is going to break anytime soon. Well, you can see just how overgrown this trail is. Little cricket. Well, thank God I brought my sleeves. And I decided to wear pants today. And this was a burn area also, and there has been some evidence of the burns. And people that live on this hilltop to my right, oh boy, I bet they were scared, huh? A couple of houses over there with some nice views. Well, it looks like I've reached the top of this ridge line, and got some really good views of a pretty severe burn area way over there on the other side. There's some houses mixed in, but they were nervous. And this stuff here is growing everywhere. I don't really know what it is. I don't know if this was here naturally or this is something that came about and blossomed after the burn. I'm not sure. I've been getting definitely closer to that big boulder up there. Whew. Boy, I am sweating big time. I can finally see that big boulder. It's right there. Well, now I have a view over to the south and east. And I also have my first yucca that's in bloom. I've seen several that were budding out, but this is the only one I've seen that's been in bloom. I think it's probably because it's a little higher up on the ridge line and maybe gets a little more sun than some of the others, a little more heat. You can see my trail as it works its way over. I think that peak over there is my eventual destination. Oh, and it looks like I am in fact nearing my destination, which I really couldn't see from a little further back, but I can see him now. That makes me happy to know that this part of the adventure is over. And this interesting plant, I'll have to double check, but this might in fact be witch's hair. But this is what I've come for. This was the whole reason for the hike today, was to get to this. Who in their right mind would take the time to haul chairs up here. All right, well, I've reached the top. The chairs up here at Clevenger. It's kind of scary up here because this wants to lean back and you're going to go off about 20 feet off the backside. Well, I made it up the top of Clevenger Canyon. And I don't know who set these chairs up here, but boy, sure is nice having a nice, perfect spot to sit. Tremendous view of the canyon. Nice, cool breeze. It's like the sun's trying to work its way through. But I'm going to enjoy myself up here, take a break. Maybe if I find it, there's a little open spot over there. Maybe I'll go up there and try to brew up some coffee. Maybe I'll have me a nice cold beer. I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the hike up to Clevenger Canyon. I might there's a peak right there. You see the trail over there. I might run over there just to see what it looks like from that angle. There's also a peak over there. I didn't see a trail to it, so I'll have to check my map when I get back down to my pack. Anyway, I'm up here on the top of Clevenger Canyon, and these two rocking chairs are awesome. They're a little precarious because of the way they sit. They're kind of leaning backward. It makes you a little nervous because it's about a 20-foot drop off the backside of these boulders, but it's got a great view from up here. Tremendous view of all of the Highway 78 as it goes down to San Pasqual Valley, and I can see off to the east for probably about 50 miles, and it gets obscured by the clouds and the haze, but it's nice up here. So I'm going to enjoy a few minute break up here and enjoy this nice cool spot in the rocking chair, and maybe heat up a cup of coffee. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode of The Journal. I'm going to go right over here, try to find me a spot out of the breeze to get my stove out. And then from there, I'll work my way back down. There is a peak over here to the right. I might go over there and see what that looks like. It's pretty close. So there's also another one right over here. One of them is 1755 and one is 1635, I think. That's got to be the 1635 peak over there. So we'll see. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this episode of The Journal. The next episode, I'm going to be coming to you from Yosemite National Park. We're going to go check out some of those waterfalls. Well, I'm taking a break here at the top of Clevenger Canyon, and I decided I was too hot to make some coffee, so I'm going to have another one of those Allagash Hop Reach IPAs. And I had it in the ice chest in the Jeep before I got here, and I had it in a double koozie. I took the other part off, and so I thought that's a perfect spot to take a break. The sun looks like it's finally starting to poke through a little bit. It looks like they've got some pretty big houses. I see a dome, or it's a balloon or something over that direction. But that was my viewpoint today right there. The chairs, the rocking chairs at Clevenger Canyon. There's a house down there with a nice pool. I'd be a little nervous up here, though. There's a pretty high fire danger here. And it looks like, looking over that way, I can see Cuyamaca Peak and Middle Peak and Julian Peak. And a lot of it's blocked. The ridgeline is blocked by the hills, but you gotta take my word for it. It was actually a nice hike. It was a little steep in spots. It was obviously overgrown, but I mean, you can't get a better viewpoint than that. I am gonna run over to this other peak right here. I think there's a summit register. I'm gonna go check it out. But first, I gotta have my Allagash IPA from the top of Clevenger Canyon. My rocking chair. If you don't know what that's from a classic 1956 John Wayne movie called The Searchers. It's one of the all-time greatest Westerns. If you haven't seen it, take a few minutes. It's only an hour and a half long, so you can see it on HBO Max. I just watched it. That's what gave me the idea for this hike, the Rockin Chairs. Another swallowtail butterfly. So I worked my way down just a little ways, not even a quarter mile, over to the next peak over, which happened to be this one. And it looks like the summit register is sitting out. I'm assuming it's sitting out so it can dry out. So I'll log into that here pretty soon. But I gotta admit, that's pretty sweet. I don't know if they have a benchmark up here or not. I'll have to scout around. This could very well be peak 1635, I believe. So anyway, I'll do some more checking. I might just sit here for a minute and enjoy the bench. Somebody took the time to bring the wood up here and build it right here, so might as well take advantage of it. Right here on top, Clevenger Canyon. I'll be damned. I have to admit, even though it is a bushwhack, it is pretty scenic up here. As I'm working my way down from that last peak back over toward the Rockin Chairs. And I noticed that car that parked next to me later on is gone. I could see it from up there, so hopefully he didn't park next to me, break into my car, and leave. Wouldn't that be the shits, huh? Well, that right there is a very large tarantula hawk. Believe it or not, they eat tarantulas. As long as it doesn't flap my pant leg. Well, as I'm hiking back to the car, I didn't see these on the way out. They must not have been in bloom. These are tufted poppies. I knew they were a poppy of some kind. These are called tufted poppies. Well, thanks for watching my latest edition of the Hiking Journal, a solo hike along Clevenger Canyon's Southwest Trail to the Rockin Chairs. As I neared the trailhead, I came across a young girl sitting on a rock having lunch, enjoying the beautiful scenery and the magnificent wildflowers. Cassidy was a sweet, charming girl who seemed to enjoy the outdoors as much as I did. It was great meeting her, and I hope she continues exploring the beautiful mountains and trails in the San Diego area. Well, by the time you see this episode, I'll be heading out into Yosemite National Park for a late spring adventure. We've got several days to explore iconic Yosemite Valley, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hike up the 4-mile trail to Glacier Point, the trail to Upper Yosemite Falls, and maybe even the short trail to Inspiration Point. Now, of course, that's if they're open. And this year, who knows, after all the floods and rain and snow melt that's washed away a lot of the trails.
Sorry, folks, we're closed for 2 weeks to clean and repair America's favorite family fun park. Sorry.
Anyway, take care, and I'll see you down the trail. Bye-bye.
Let's go home, Debbie.
A man will search his heart and soul. Go search.